Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. In this how to play video I'm going to take a look at Odd Warrior, or Baku Control Warrior as it's sometimes called. It's an interesting Control Warrior deck that, interestingly enough, is not going to get hit at all by the upcoming nerfs in Hearthstone, so it has some great potential in the post-nerf Witchwood meta. For now though, I've been experimenting with various builds for the pre-nerf meta, and I climbed the legend playing these archetypes this season. It is a very defensive, almost fatigue type of deck that has only a couple of real win conditions of its own, and it mostly relies on lots of removal and lots of armor to frustrate and make the opponents concede. This particular build is quite heavily anti-Warlock teched. It's a double silence, double weapon removal build, so very heavy teching going on here. And the removal package is quite impressive. There's Whirlwind, there's 2 copies of Reckless Flurry, and because this is a Baku deck, so your hero power is going to give you 4 armor each turn. That makes Reckless Flurry a really good card. Reckless Flurry is almost useless in other warrior decks, but in this one, because you're not getting a big chunk of armor at once like you would get from something like a Drywisk Armor, but you're getting a very steady armor gain from your hero power. That makes Reckless Flurry much easier to use. You can easily just armor up on Reckless Flurry, that's 4 AoE, and you can also easily just tank up for a few turns after playing Reckless Flurry to regain all of your armor. In addition to Reckless Flurry, there's of course 2 copies of Brawl, and in this build there is a Baron Geddon, which is especially good against Paladins and other token decks. There's a bit less when it comes to single target removal, because Execute is unavailable for a Baku build. There are 2 copies of Shield Slam, and there's a Big Game Hunter. In addition to those, your rush minions are often used as removal. So Towncry is there to dig for those rush minions, and it finds either Rapid Vorgans, or sometimes it finds Darius Crowley, which is a especially nice removal piece, because if you use it to remove something that has less than 4 attack, then it survives that and it grows, and then can remove something else next turn again. In addition to the spells and the rush minions, there's also 2 copies of Fiery War Axe for that early game removal and board control. There are also some taunt minions in this deck. There's 2 copies of Stonehill Defender, which is a nice card early on. It helps you protect yourself a little bit, makes it easier to get some armor, maybe Reckless Flurry down some boards later. And there's 2 copies of Daihon Hatchling, which has the added benefit of shuffling Daihon Matriarchs into your deck, so you get further away from fatigue. When it comes to actual win conditions, this deck is sporting Elise the Trailblazer, and the Ungoro pack is a potential win condition. And also Elise, once again shuffling another card back into your deck, so also makes you further away from fatigue. There are a couple of more special win condition cards in this deck. There's a copy of Faceless Manipulator. Faceless Manipulator can do a lot of things. It can copy a Darius if it lives on the board, so that you can get a couple of big rush minions out there. You can use that to copy, say, a Void Lord to get some more defense for yourself. You can even combine this with something like a Big Game Hunter, so let's say opponent plays a Lich King. If you have 10 mana, you can make yourself a Lich King and then kill the heirs. So with the power of Faceless Manipulator, you're able to grab one of the opponent's win conditions and give that to yourself. And finally there is Azalina Soul Thief. Azalina Soul Thief is a card that's not good in many matchups. In many matchups it's nearly useless against all of the aggressive decks, for example. But there are some matchups where if you're playing Control Warrior, you have to have Azalina or you will lose. The main example is playing against Control Warlock with Rin. If they get an early Rin and they dark back that Rin so you can't get to silence it, and they start playing those seals, you have to have Azalina, so that either you copy their hand when they're still on the seals phase and you raise with seals of your own, or at the very latest you need to copy it when they have the Azari, so that you can respond to their Azari with an Azari of your own. And from there you have a chance to win the game, because your hero power is giving you 4 armor each turn. And that is sometimes strong enough to make the difference if your hands are equal. So a very removal heavy build. Quite few win conditions of its own, but there are some things here that can win games. But mostly it's all about removing the threats that your opponent can play. So how do you mulligan with this deck? The basic mulligan is something along the lines of Towncrier, War Axe, Vogue and Stonehill Defender. That sort of early game defensive type of mulligan. If you're up against something that you know is going to flood the board a lot with small minions, then keeping a Reckless Flurry, keeping a Brawl, something like Paladin for example, these can be good cards to keep. And if you're up against a Warlock, for example, then you don't really need those early game defensive tools. What you need is weapon removal, silence, and Azalina, just in case this happens to be a control Warlock. Finally, against a Priest, I like to keep Big Game Hunter, because most priests right now are Mind Blast priests. So how they're going to beat you when you have all that armor coming in is usually with Alexstrasza coming down. If Alexstrasza is unchallenged and it gets to hit your face, then together with Afterburn, that is definitely going to be enough to push through all the armor. And Big Game Hunter is an answer to Alexstrasza, even in a case where they have Skulking Geist, so they take away your shield slams. But Big Game Hunter is still there, and it can still answer that Alex turn, which is the most crucial turn of the game against Mind Blast Priest. Overall, it's a fun control deck. This version was relatively successful. I had another build that incorporated King Mosh that was slightly better than this one, but I'm going to showcase that to you in my next video. For now, enjoy some Odd Warrior gameplay with this kind of deck list. And if you enjoy this content, then please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more. Now, let's go take a look at some Odd Warrior. I don't think any of these are strong enough. But yeah. Even with the mage you're unfavored though, because the Warlock can tap to draw a lot of more cards. So they have a better chance to find their Rin before you have the chance to find your Geist. On the other hand, the Warlock has to mulligan for Tempo Mage, so they don't mulligan for Rin. And that does give you a bit of more of an opener. Let's see what happens in this game. Hopefully it's not another auto loss, because auto losses are not a lot of fun. There's the possibility that he plays a Mountain Giant next turn. So I have the option to draw. I think I need to take the draw here. I think that's important. Now if he plays the Mountain Giant, that's still annoying. So do I just flurry the Mountain Giant? This is now a Cubelock. But he cannot cube and pact yet next turn. But if he can push 8 to face, that's a problem. I think I'll try this. I think I'll still give this a try. Just keep putting taunts in his way. Yeah, I mean, if he cubes now because he can't cube and pact, then I can silence the cube. Because I have silence in my hand. So if he chooses to cube now, then I will simply silence the cube. Well, if he does this, then I will have to flurry. Yeah, that one I have to flurry. I can't allow the Umbra to stay on the board. But now if he has a way to get a Doom Guard out, that's a big problem for me. At least that's not a Doom Guard. Alright. This is fine so far. Let's go in with the Defender. Cornered Sentry. That's interesting, but I don't have a Brawl available yet. But are these any good? They're not really that good, because both die to like Hellfire and stuff. So I might take the Sentry and maybe go with some kind of Brawl play with that later. I think at this point I hit a little bit over there. He could of course hit here and Hellfire and this survives or something, but I guess that's pretty unlikely. Would he run a Rin in a Cubelock with Umbra? He did want to Hellfire that board. Okay, I am surprised. I'm now officially surprised. He could have a 5 damage Spellstone in hand. I think I still want to go in with Darius here. Let's still go with this. Put some pressure on the board. He has played a Librarian just last turn, so if any of those cards is Spellstone, then Spellstone can kill Darius. But if there's no Spellstone, then Darius is a slightly more significant threat. Even if he Spellstones it, he uses 4 mana to do that. That's interesting. It's also a little bit annoying, because if I kill that and it pulls a Doom God, what do? I have to kill the Doom God. I don't have the tools to do that. So I probably have to silence that. I probably have to silence it. That's what this looks like. I'm not a huge fan of silencing these small minions. Not a huge fan at all. But I just didn't have anything that I could do if he killed that next turn and then went ahead with some Cuban pack stuff. He had the Spellstone in hand all along. But this delayed the skull, so I might find weapon removal, and I do. That was timely. That was extremely timely. I like that. Then I want to equip the Warlocks, I believe. Let's hit some face. I guess I can hit face with the Warlocks too once. Because he can run some weapon removal too, so I get at least some value from the Warlocks. So I have the ability to make myself a Void Lord. I think I like Void Lords in general. Then I can shield slam the Void Lord, and I can kill all the Void Walkers too. What if he plays Gul'dan next? Well, then he plays Gul'dan next. Let's make a Void Lord for me to kill that one. I want Harrison to go face. I'm going to play a Worgen here, so that these will take the trades. This also keeps Harrison out of reach of Hellfire. Although he already spent 1 Hellfire, of course. He might just play Gul'dan here. That would be a perfectly safe play. Gets a Void Lord, gets some Void Walkers back. Does he have a Gul'dan? Grabbing some of these Void Lords. This is like what I really wanted from the... Oh, more Void Lords. Well, well. And then Gul'dan next turn, maybe. If I use another Shield Slam on this one, I guess it's still fine. Do I want to armor up? I do have a use for 9 men. I could play like Baku. If I use Shield Slam and trade this one in, so that there's not even that much to defile. I think that's okay. I can play Shield Slam on this. And trade in the 1/1. And I can kill all the Void Walkers. And I can actually play Baku on the board. But he can play Gul'dan. There's 6 Void Walkers and 2 Void Lords in the pool. So he will almost always get a 2 Void Lords. He probably doesn't have anything like Twisting Nether, so if he needs to rely on things that deal smaller amounts of damage, it might be hard for him to set this up. But, well, he has everything. But this time I have some decent stuff too. Does he get 2 Void Lords? He does. That's sad. He might start cubing these. But the only way I have to kill Void Lords is to... both Void Lords is to play Barongeddon. Which is quite inconvenient. I'm 1 off otherwise. All of this doesn't line up too well. He's going to cube up Void Lord, most likely, right? I don't want to let him do that. I don't want to let him cube a Void Lord. This will kill the Void Lords. This will kill the Void Lords so that there's nothing for him to cube. Obviously, there are some strong things that he can do with his hero power here. Okay, he might have the second Hellfire as well. That would clean up everything except for the Geddon. And then he might have something for the Geddon, like a Spellstone. I mean, Void Lords are gone for good. There's never going to be another Void Lord in this game. There's a Mountain Giant, which that's a risk, and there's Doom Guards. But there's no weapon either. Well, that will be able to clean up nicely. I guess that's pretty sweet. I think it's the Matriarch time. Yeah, I'll do Matriarch and Elise. Let's try this. One lackey has been played. He might have another lackey. There might be a Doom God left in the deck. But mana is an issue. He has a hard time getting those cube setups. One more silence left in my deck. We're equally deep into our decks. He can silence the hatchling though. He just can't get a cube set up here. Can he get something else? With Hellfire? No, it's very difficult to, even if that pulls a Doom God. It's just very, very difficult for him to actually do anything with it. Until next turn. Well, I didn't pick up an answer. Well, Vorax or Owl would have been the answers. So I suppose it's Ungar pack time. Let's see what I get from the pack. Oh, this gives me a Tidal Surge. So I could trade with this one. What if it pulls a Doom God? Hot Spring Guardian, Tidal Surge. Hot Spring Guardian, I'm still vulnerable to Hellfire. Well, that's the way it goes. This one trades that one away. We'll see if it pulls a Doom God. If it pulls, then I trade the Doom God away. Yeah, not the greatest thing ever, but it did kill the Doom God. One Doom God left. One Giant left. And, well, there's that pretty sweet hero power. I think I need to mulligan all of this, even though I kind of like the hatchling, but I need something faster. Double silence is not what I had in mind. He kept 2 cards, probably an even Paladin, right? Yeah, so he's most likely has Call to Arms. And I kind of needed something else here. If only real packs were that good. Yeah, that would be sweet. I would kind of need something here, but I have nothing. So that's a very difficult position to be in. You mulligan all the cards. You're offered nothing. You mulligan everything. You get a lot of nothing in return. So now I have to top deck multiple good cards in a row.
I'm getting started with this. Let's say he coins Call to Arms. I armor up now, so I get to 7. These push me down to 4. If there's Juggler, I need to armor up anyway. Because if he coins Call to Arms now, I will have to Reckless Flurry next turn. And I don't have enough mana to armor up and Reckless Flurry next turn. As much as I would have loved to play the Fire War Axe, this is the line. Then if he happens to pull a Knife Juggler as the first minion and gets double juggles, that's kind of a problem, but I mean, he's going to do the Call to Arms anyway, even though he might expect me to have something, because even if I have something, I have to spend it and hit in his deck, so it's all good from his perspective. There's obviously the board that I have to answer. He even gets to draw a card from the Loot Hoard, so he's still in a very strong position. I just killed a bunch of stuff, but he's now 5 cards deeper in this deck than I am. That Call to Arms essentially drew 4 cards, which is pretty sweet. I'll War Axe one of these down and then I Hero Power. I want to have some armor. Now even if he has something like Blessing of Kings on the Chain Gang, it's completely fine. He's drawing so many cards. He probably has Silence available as well. That's annoying. He could have Tarim for these next turn. That would be really annoying. I could try to shield block, but I can do that next turn too, right? The only draw is Brawl that I can't use for 7 mana. So one option is to shield block and armor up. The other option is to try to do something more proactive, like playing a Direhorn Hatchling, which is likely going to get silenced though. I think I'll try the Hatchling play. Let's see what happens. Tarim into this is not awesome. It's okay. Not the greatest Tarim of his life. Silence on this is better, but that still leaves the 3/6 body, and he would be down to 2 mana. Choose the champion. Oh, it's this build. Okay. That was nice. So it's the no Stegodons build. That's good to know. I would have to start finding something. That's the problem. I'd really have to start finding something here. Which one of these is more scary with buffs? Well, this goes up to 8 attack. 8/6. I can't kill 8/6 next turn. I have to Shield Slam to 4/2 now to limit the incoming damage a little bit, because I haven't been able to draw anything useful.
This curse has become our greatest strength.
Yeah. He's conservative with his threats. There can still be a Lich King in the deck. Maybe there isn't, but there could be. It might come down next turn. If there's a Lich King next turn... But the thing is that my Shield Slam is not going to deal with it anyway, right? It is. If he slams Lich King, I play Hatchling. He has 4 coming through. I'll be at 10. I'll go down to 6. I can Hero Power up to 10 again. Does he play Lich King in that list? Because many of these lists don't even include the Lich King. But he's been holding on to so many cards. I think I need to just take this line. I might lose all of the armor if he has Silence. And I mean, he is running double Silence in the deck. The only question is, does he choose to use one? And do I have to play around Lich King or not? I mean, I think Lich King is quite popular. I'm concerned that maybe I do need to play around it. That's fine, because I'll just silence the Berserker. But I know Tarim is in that deck too. Silence and Darius. There's double equality and double consecration, which means that any board that I can build might end up dead. But that wasn't a very strong turn. I mean, Lich King would have been a much stronger turn. So I think I make the read that there is no Lich King. In which case I think I just silence the Berserker. And I Shield Slam the 6/5. So I get rid of the biggest threat that's currently pushing damage. Because I now have a read that there is no Lich King in hand at least.
Reporting for duty.
At best it's a Tarim. Then I need the Brawl or I need the Flurry. So I have 3 cards that I need one of 3 cards. It's a little bit awkward when you just can't draw anything that you need. Isn't it? Because now I will have to silence the Tarim in order to get Crowley through. And he can still trade away Crowley easily next turn. But I need to deal with some of this board. I just can't leave all of this up. Now I have used all the silences, so if he has Valanir, then I can't do anything about Valanir, but the thing is that I can't keep playing around Valanir when he's just going to keep hitting face. He has equality consecration. Right? Or something else. Oh, it's just double consecration. Oh, that's even better. Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of board clears in this deck, but obviously I was only able to draw one single board clear in this game. And that unfortunately is not enough. So that's a loss. I can now get up to 9 health, but he will have 9 damage on board. If I play Faces Manipulator Worgen, I can kill 2, but that's not enough. Alright. Hi, Chester. I'm doing okay. Deck Tracker is very useful when you run stuff like Dragon's Fury. But who knows. So, Taunt Druid or Spiteful? I would bet on Spiteful. I have not seen a Taunt Druid in ages. It's all Spiteful. But if it happens to be Taunt Druid, then I might miss the Thinkmaster a little bit. I don't have Thinkmaster in the deck because in general it's not that useful. But this is Spiteful. Alright. Now we know exactly what we're up against. The next problem. He kept 2 cards. Which means that there's a pretty good chance that there's going to be an 8-8 or 12-12 coming out on 6. Actually on 5 with the coin. Or on 4 if he has a Greedy Sprite on 3. And 12-12 on turn 4 is a problem. I would need a big Game Hunter essentially to contest that. I have Faceless Manipulator, so yeah, I can Faceless it. That's kind of a solution. It's not really a solution, but it's something. I might find a Shield Slam. He might not get Tyrannus. Many options. Flurry can also be good. So now I have to start deciding on the path that I'm taking here. Is the path a hero power path? Nah, I think I still need to play the Stonehill. Some interesting options. These are really interesting, seriously. Because I could pick up just something cheap to defend myself with. Or I could go for something more expensive that has more of an influence. I think I'll pick the Shield Bearer, to be honest. Because the way I read his hand is that there's going to be that huge minion. I need to be able to build my armor in order to use the Reckless Flurry. That's just the read I have on what's going on right now. I could deal with this with a whirlwind, but I don't think I need to. Then there's the matter of, do I play the shield bearer out there? Not yet, I think, not yet. Okay, that was not buffed, that's good. Next turn is the coin, Spiteful Summoner. But I can do hero power if he pushes face damage. It's okay with Darius, I think. Let's try this. So now I have Darius growing. If he goes with the coin... He goes with the coin Spiteful Summoner now, right? You always go coin Spiteful Summoner. Why would you ever do something else? And that might mean that I have to sacrifice the... Oh! Interesting choice. A fairly weak choice, I believe. I can just silence this and kill it with the Darius. And even play a shield bearer to protect myself. That will leave the Scalebane alive, but it's fine. I'm silencing that. Darius will kill it. Darius keeps growing. I play a shield bearer and armor up. There's still not enough minions on the board for him to use the mind control tech. But these two cards that he kept, what's the point if there's no Spiteful Summoner? The Ultimate Infestation, Malfurion. Malfurion would be a good keep. Coin Malfurion here would be good. I would do coin Malfurion here if I had Malfurion in hand. 100%. The thing is that then Darius is growing, so Darius can handle a Spiteful Summoner summon soon. He could play the Rush Minion. He could trade this one here and Rush Minion would kill Darius. He would have 3 mana left over. So neither of those is a Spiteful Summoner, right? That leaves Malfurion, Archivist, Ultimate Infestation. I obviously have the option to just Darius things up. Because Darius could trade away that one. I could trade away the Scalebane. Still leave the Reckless Flurry in hand. I would have 4 mana. That would go into hero power, right? I would be down to 8 armor, 5 coming in. So I can get to 7. It's enough, it's enough. Alright, that's how we roll. Darius trades away this one. I trade away the Scalebane. And I armor up. I go down to 3 armor. I can get up to 7. If he has a second Spiteful Summoner, it's still a problem. But now I'm starting to read that maybe there isn't a second Spiteful Summoner.
The scourge will devour all.
If I want to Reckless Flurry, I can just do Whirlwind to get on, right? That kills the fledgling. Forces a trade. Or I could silence this and just hit down the fledgling. I soon won't have enough armor to use the flurry anymore. But I can always pick up a shield slam later. It's a double silence deck. I think this is fine. Silence that. I kill the fledgling. I play the Elise. So he has Fungal Mancers in the deck. But neither... This card cannot be a Fungal Mancer, right? But one of these could be. More Crypt Lords. And if he has a Fungal Mancer, he can take a value, trade on the Elise. Okay, I don't mind any of this stuff. But it looks like he's preparing to coin Ultimate Infestation next turn. That's the read I have on this hand right now. Getting rid of his cards so that he can coin the UI. This one would live through a Reckless Flurry, but it would die to a Whirlwind. I could trade there. Armor up Reckless Flurry Whirlwind. He's going to coin the UI next turn. He had a haircut, yes. Shave and a haircut. What do you know? These old minions are so strengthened that Geddon is not a good answer to them. I think it has to be hit here. Armor up. To play Reckless Flurry. Do I really Whirlwind down a single Spiteful Summoner? But next turn is the UI turn. I probably have to avoid that damage. I probably have to. If it wasn't a Spiteful Summoner, if it wasn't a Grand Archivist, what would he keep except for the UI? What? I'm like, seriously, what? Does he want to have a target for the UI? Is that it? Leroy. I mean, I keep Leroy in the Mulligan. I mean, this card that he got after the Mulligan, this card could be Leroy. Totally. But this card can never be Leroy. One way to find out. I'm afraid that one way to find out would be really scary. I don't dare to look. I don't dare to look. Let's see. I seriously can't understand what he can have in that hand. He had the Kelazet, so all of these cards have the Kelazet buff. Why do you keep a card and don't play it? Why do you do that? I still don't understand a thing. I still don't understand a thing. Mind control. You wouldn't keep a mind control deck. Keep one card for intimidation factor. Yes, mind games. I have been totally mind gamed here. Is it like if I play Geddon, he plays UI? Let's draw another card. Let's draw another card. I think I can play this card. That was quite useless. That drawing was quite useless. Sooner or later he's going to do something. I mean, surely. Okay. Well, that's something. I mean, I could trade, Geddon. Leaves the Fungal Mancer alive, unless I shield slam it. I have real difficulty trying to read his hand. I simply do not understand. I guess I leave the Geddon unsupported. But this will be the strangest hold ever if that's now a UI that he plays on the Geddon, now that he sees Geddon here. Okay, now you play Geddon. I have a good UI target. Now I play the UI. Unless it's the top deck card. That can be anything. I'm completely fine if he plays UI from the top deck. I don't complain about that. But if he plays UI from here, then... like what? He could have another Fungal Mancer. Then he can buff this Fungal Mancer enough to be able to kill Geddon. And that's a problem you run into when you play control decks. You don't run into this problem when you play aggro decks. You never have the problem of... you don't have to wonder so much about what your opponent is doing. Oh, those are some sweet minions out there. But do I still want a copy of his hand? I suppose I don't. There could be another Fungal Man, so that would make sense. One of the few cards that would make some sense. So I guess I'll use a Mulligan here to kill one of these. And armor up. I have the option to Shield Slam here, but I think I will not. Like if he plays Lich King now, then he gets to keep Poisonous Minion if I go Big Game Hunt the Faceless Manipulator. So we can kill my Lich King. Was it wrong for me to draw the shield blocks? That means I'm a bit deeper into fatigue. Yes, that is a Tangled Web.
The rage, it claims me.
All these plays are so weak. So incredibly weak. What can he be going for here? I guess I Shield Slam the 2-4. Then there's as much damage coming in as I armor up each turn right now. There's one more Spiteful Summoner anyway. I have both the Big Game Hunter and the Shield Slam available. Goes for some board. There could be another Fungal Mancer. So now he's able to actually deal more damage than I can armor up each turn. There's nothing left for the Town Crier to draw. No, I can still play it out there. Let's give him some target practice. It's fine. Now he's in effect dealing 3 damage per turn. He could play the Fungal Mancer now that he finally managed to get more than 1 minion to stick. I have 2 Brawls and a Reckless Flurry left. They're all in the bottom. Well, that Leroy seems kind of weak. It wasn't the Leroy that he kept. Now we know that much. Do I just Shield Slam the Leroy? I could Big Game Hunter the Leroy. Now there's actually a bit of a problem with the Poisonous Minion left alive. So it can just kill anything that I play. Maybe the idea of facelessing the Lich King is a bit far-fetched. Just maybe. Just maybe I don't really need to do that. I'm gonna just Leroy his Leroy. Okay. But I keep taking 3 damage per turn. Which at the moment is still acceptable. He has double silence in the deck, so I'm not actually getting any extra cards from the hatchlings. But I might draw my Ungora pack at some point. Get some resources. There's the double brawl and the flurry. Yeah, now he's actually able to push a little bit more damage. So I would have to find some kind of removal piece at some point here. Yeah, it would be useful. I mean, 9 cards left and I have 3 of my 4 removal pieces in the bottom. But this is an Ungoro pack turn. Let's see what the pack gives. Explore Ungoro. Maybe we're not going to explore Ungoro. I'm thinking more in the lines of Wildspine Slayer, the biggest minion. Leroy's gone, both Fungal Mancers are gone. Shield Slam is rapidly losing its usefulness. I think I'll just Wildspine the biggest minion though. And play Gluttonous Ooze. And get some stuff out there on the board. I'm still at 27. He has double silence. He probably has the silences in hand. Here comes the UI. He finally found it. Alright. Well, that is pressure. That's definitely pressure. And able to throw away the coin. That's sweet. Retains the poisonous minion. I like it. Nice decision making, I think. Well, there's a flurry. But I need to catch a little bit of a break in order to use the flurry effectively. So I need to tank up now. And shield slam the poisonous minion. So that I can play the Sated Treshadon. With just one minion on board, this doesn't open up a possibility for him to use Mind Control tech. No more Fungal Mancers. Script Lords and Chain Gangs are gone too. He may or may not have the second UI in hand. Okay, does he use the 4-2 charge and then the 3-3 to kill that? He might do that. That would be relatively powerful. Also keeps this one out of Reckless Flurry reach. He could use his hero power too. Yeah, that would be even better. Retains more of the board. Yeah, you just hero power that down. That's good. And then you push 8 to face with the minions. Ah, scared. Well, in a way I like it. He has another silence in hand. He always does. Because that's a double silence deck. So Hatchling is not a very useful card right here. I'll go with the Storm Watcher. But this is getting pretty delicate. Because I can't armor up enough to use the Reckless Flurry. Maybe it was a mistake to use both shield blocks. Because I needed to save one for Reckless Flurry later. So now I just can't catch a break when I could use the Reckless Flurry effectively. Yeah, he doesn't have 10 from hand with Leroy gone. That's for sure.
A tangled web.
And both Fungal Mancers gone. Does he still have an Ultimate Infestation? Oh! Second Ultimate Infestation in the bottom 3 cards. That is solid.
Death is eternal.
Is he going to push face? No.
Is not.
And then he also has the silence. Didn't dare to push face. That's at least some good news. So Big Game Hunter will kill the Deathwing. Is it Stonehill Defender and Armor Up? Or is it Daihorn Hatchling? So I mean, I know he has silence. I might go for the Armor Up. Yeah, Stonehill Defender. Tarlord. Cornet Sentry would be so good with Brawl. Both Brawls are in the bottom 5. So I haven't really got to those yet. Cornet Sentry can also be played together with the Daihorn Hatchling. It has to be the Cornet Sentry, right?
I've got the beast in my sight.
Big Game Hunter will kill the Deathwing.
Almost out of cards.
Okay. He has 1 silence left. I could use the Brawl. I really could use the Brawl.
My thoughts are plain.
No more rush, no more buffs. Maybe no more taunts. There's a Glacial Shard. spell break. That silence is the really annoying part.
Is eternal.
Because I cannot be safe behind a taunt.
Your magic shall not save.
Goes for the silence. That might have been a crucial mistake, right? Wasn't that just a fatal mistake? Silence is a gun now. I can send 4 to this board with the Reckless Flurry. That has got to be good enough, right? Armor up Reckless Flurry and Hatchling. He has spent all the silences now. So now we Flurry. And then we Hatchling. Now there's no more silence. He has UI 2 brawls left in the deck. If he goes wide.
My thoughts are
Doesn't have a lot of big stuff remaining. Interesting game.
tangled web.
He played very strangely for a long time there. Oh, that Lich King. He did have a Lich King. I just wasn't sure that he did. Alright, that's going to be so good for him. Now I can't deal with it anymore, unless I top deck a brawl. And I do top deck a brawl. Then it's Sentry and Brawl.
Nice little trapdoors.
So there's 80% chance for the Lich King to die. If Lich King lives, he wins. He has 20% now to win the game. Didn't win yet. Alright, we killed the Lich King. But now he can go wide again. Oh, seriously. That was so good. How do they always high roll from the Lich King? How do they always do it? That's amazing. That is amazing. That Lich King high roll was really something. Not only did he get a 6-9, but he also prevented me from having it. He could have got Harrison Jones, but he didn't. So I'm forced to brawl again. Now it's 1 in 3 for him to get a good result. So the Daihon must not win. It doesn't win. I get to play another hatchling. Okay. I'm still alive here, but I have no more brawls. So he goes wide now. Now is the time to go wide. If he holds back, I just play Azalina. One is quite a brawl. Yeah, it is. Betatite Hydra? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Here's some amazing stuff in that deck. Such a greedy build, and it's time to take a look inside. This is not a lethal setup, right? He has Ultimate Infestation in hand. But he can't push through enough. So we take whatever he has there. There's going to be 2 mind control techs. 1 mind control tech and a greedy sprite. Should have Azalina'd earlier. Well, I really didn't expect him to run all this stuff. That's a very, very super greedy build. I was unsure whether I should have played a card or not. I mean, he kills this, and there's 50% chance that I top deck the Daihon Matriarch. He can't play UI, he just dies. Yeah, that is the move. That's absolutely the move. And then I get 50%. Then I get 50% to draw the Daihon Matriarch. And if I draw the Matriarch, I win, right?
I'm almost out of cards.
So now... yeah, I should win with the Matriarch draw. I believe. Then I can play a Gluttonous Ooze. And I armor up. Do I need to run attack with the Azalina? Not necessarily, right? He can't play more minions. This one dies to the Matriarch. This should be game, right? The Bittertide Hydra dies to the Matriarch. He's not going to have enough pressure after that. It all came down to that 50-50 there. He has to find out another way. But he doesn't have another way. The Bittertide Hydra is the only way to kill the Matriarch. He has 8 damage without the Hydra. That's not enough to kill the Matriarch. That's the only move. And that move puts him down to 6. He's going to fatigue for 5. I have Fiery War Axe, which is my next draw. Which means that I always deal lethal damage.
My turn is not.
Phew. That was a pretty close one. His minions are buffed and my minions are not. And Fiery War Axe to the face finishes him off. And now he dies to fatigue. Boom. That took a while. I'm gonna try with something like this.
None will survive.
I'm not sure. So I don't know if this is the same opponent or not. Oh, we start by armoring up. Hi, Toy Machine. Why would you keep Big Game Hunter? To kill Alexstrasza. I have to have a way to kill Alexstrasza. One way or another, I have to be able to kill the Alexstrasza in the end. I should have actually just silenced the Acolyte. Now I did wrong. Well, I should focus on the game. 2 spells is all it takes. Or 1 scale one. It works too. He's being very aggressive. I obviously have the option to armor up and coin flurry, which is not great. I can walk in down the scale worm. I think I armor up and coin the flurry. Let's kill those minions right here. He could have a Twilight Drake in hand. But I have an Iron Beak Owl, so I can silence the Twilight Drake. Maybe I just wait and buy some time. So no Twilight Drake. Another Pyromancer, and Pyromancer is a bit dangerous because it can potentially give him more cards. If he can find the Cleric and then use the Pyromancer's effect to get some damage done. He could have a Geist for next turn. So I think I'm just going to Shield Slam that fellow now, before he can Geist away the Shield Slams. This makes it so that he can't use the Pyromancer effects to draw additional cards with the Clerics. And that's the Geist. I was expecting a Geist, I got a Geist. Ooh, Tarlord. Well, Tarlord can be killed with the Shadow Word Death. Primordial Drake is probably better. It's difficult for a priest to deal with. It doesn't come down quite yet, but These can be killed with the Duskbreaker. And this can be killed. I think Woody Bay Bodyguard is nice. It fits my mana curve. I suppose it's okay. Oh, more Acolytes. Do I Worgen that one down or do I simply silence it? But I could still silence the Twilight Drakes. Actually a little bit attracted to the idea of simply Worgening that down. Because how do I get rid of the Twilight Drakes? He hasn't had any Twilight Drakes. I'm going to spend a silence. Let's deny the card draw for now. Is this enough? Do I play the Worgen too? No, this is enough. I just hero power. Just not giving him cards from that one, but he could have a Cleric and Divine Hymn, which can then give him cards because he gets to heal 2 minions. But it's difficult to play around all the possible card draw he can have. Like Cleric and Hymn now would be really sweet for him. It's obviously a possibility to brawl this board. I guess brawl is fine. I'm not being threatened a lot yet. And the upside is that it leaves him with a 1/1. And the downside is that it leaves him with a 4/6. And I still have a bunch of armor here. What if I play Primordial Drake 2? It'd be relatively difficult for him to remove it. I guess he hasn't found a Cleric yet. I could also just faceless his Primordial Drake, but then he can kill... Then he can heal this first and kill the faceless minion. I guess I'll just play Primordial Drake from hand. Divine Hymn can also... can of course do a bunch of stuff here. And together with a Cleric that would be pretty scary.
The light has betrayed me.
Okay, so no healing is coming. Well, now these minions don't have much of a choice but to hit into my Primordial Drake. And that one goes face. Then I can Worgen down this one and armor up. Does he have a Shadow Word Death in hand? He could. Sooner or later he's going to start using those. I'll just play Harrison here and armor up again. So far this looks okay. I have a shield block to gain even some more armor. That was a pretty early Anduin. But I should still have tools to deal with it. Now I get to Darius down the Duskbreaker. And this is looking good so far. We're equally deep into our decks. There's no shield slams. Shield block could still be used, like if I use a Reckless Flurry, I could use shield block after that. Like that's an option. So I think I'll just armor up for now. I'm still at a comfortable health total. Now some kind of Shadow Word Death play should be coming. Maybe even another Duskbreaker. Nothing like that. Just a Cleric. Right. Divine Hymn can still heal the Cleric. Oh, that's a nice War Axe. He could of course have the Gluttonous Ooze. I'll still use the War Axe to kill the Cleric. And I can play a Woody Bay Bodyguard. Get some more minions on the board again. Retain high level of armor. Okay, so he wants to ping that one down. He still has a Duskbreaker or Scale Worm. He has a Duskbreaker, but he can't activate it. No other dragons in hand. Well, that's a piece of good news. I don't exactly have a lot of stuff here in hand, though. But I still think I'm just waiting for now. Let's see what he does, and then react. He didn't have another dragon, so he doesn't have Twilight Drake or Primordial Drake in hand. He could still have a Scale Worm, of course. I like Voodoo, though, for dealing with Spitefuls. Okay. Pushes in with the Mind Blasts. That's cool. I don't mind. I think this is looking fine still. I don't need to play my War Axe into his Skulking, into his Gluttonous Ooze. We've seen 2 Mind Blasts, up to 2 Mind Blasts remain. He could have another 16 damage turn, but why would he do that before Alexstrasza? I don't have to hurry here. I guess just chill. You play against a German streamer. I don't understand that. Why would someone do that? I guess this is a good faceless target. Let's make a copy of it. Is there a breakpoint where using Town Crier affects something? Maybe not, but getting it away from my hand is fine. Let's do that. I'm still at 34. Never. Is it getting to be a good time to brawl? Serious question. I have 1 in 3 to kill all sorts of stuff. I think we brawl. Yeah, brawl is fine. Thumbcard could have been brawl for the... yeah. Then I'll go with the Gluttonous Ooze and Hero Power. I don't want to give his Gluttonous Ooze a target yet with the War Axe. Now he needs to choose between using some of his resources to kill this Gluttonous Ooze. Both Pyromancers are gone, both Duskbreakers are gone. If he doesn't use anything to kill this Gluttonous Ooze, then I can use War Axe and the Gluttonous Ooze next turn to kill the Twilight Drake. Unless he Divine Hymns it up. Fayakas. Oh wait, still brawl for the... yeah. Okay, so now I actually get the kill on that one, which is kind of what I wanted. This is what I was setting up here. Kill on that one and I get to play a hatchling. So this went exactly as planned. Playing the 3/3 minion, he would be reluctant to use 2 hero powers to kill it, and then the only way to kill that Twilight Drake was to deal 6 damage at once so that he can't Divine Hymn it up. So he dealt 2 and I get 4 every turn. That doesn't seem like a very good trade to me. He still has 1 Shadow Visions card, so he could still have another pair of Mind Blasts. And obviously there's Alexstrasza coming at some point. But I kept this 1 card here, just to kill Alexstrasza. So once the Alexstrasza comes, I will be able to deal with that. Okay, first death. So he deals 4. I heal 4. Okay. We can do that. We can do this all day. He actually deals 6. I guess it doesn't matter too much. Do I even want to prevent him from drawing anymore? With 4 cards in his deck? That's an interesting question. He has maximum of 16 reach because I've seen 2 Mind Blasts already, and maximum is 4. So 16, 17. Is there a way for me to lose this game still? I mean, could I just take this turn to play Baku and still be fine? I think I can even do that. I don't have to kill that. I think I can even take my time here to play the Baku, and I don't even have to armor up this turn. 16 plus 1, that's 17. But I have 2 shield blocks in hand. On Alexstrasza turn he can't use his hero power. And my response to Alexstrasza will be Big Game Hunter shield block hero power. Which takes me then to 9 more than where I start from. Now he could have the second Shadow Word Death. Or he can give me more cards so that I can chill and wait for him to die to fatigue. I suppose that's okay. Yeah. I can wait him to die to fatigue. I don't mind that. I think it's actually less risky to wait him to die to fatigue than to actively try to kill him. He did find the ooze though. It was slightly inconvenient. 7 cards in hand. I guess I'm going with the pack this turn. Let's get rid of that fellow so we get 4 cards from the pack. 5 cards from the pack. There's no elemental, so I can't activate. I can activate Calimus with Geddon. I think I want to armor up this turn. Let's adapt this fellow into something. Let's adapt it into +3 attack. Yeah. I mean, it's like... My worst problem is that if I somehow manage to mess up this game and lose, I think it's very unlikely. It should be almost impossible.
I've got the beast in my sight. Listen here.
But maybe there's a way. But there shouldn't be. That's the turn that I was waiting all game long with the Big Game Hunter. Adapt Geddon with Poison. Yeah. I was waiting all game to get to Big Game Hunter at Alexstrasza. I mean, obviously, yeah, I can see he figured that he had a chance with the Alex, because I might not be able to remove it very effectively.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the show, please click the like button and subscribe to my channel for more.